Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2022 Winter Olympics Best Bets. Yes, if you did not know, apparently the Winter Olympics is happening. It's in China. So that's something we can bet on. That sounds like a lot of fun. For a Super Bowl bye week, we'll be back next Friday to go through our favorite gold, silver, and bronze prop bets for Super Bowl 56. So we have those Olympic bets, but I did want to kick things off by telling you to smash the like button to the video. Give me your favorite Olympics bet down in the description and sub to Mayo Media Network while you're at it. Rob Pizzola, Cam Stewart, we're both here. Cam, you're going to be live from Radio Row next week?
You're damn right we are. We got some interviews lined up, too, with some former NFLers. My boy, Ryan Leaf, Washington State Cougars. Yeah, here we go. Pac-Man Jones. We got a couple other. Solomon Wilcots in the house. One of my favorites from the old time. Great special teamer. Eric Metcalf, one of the most underrated. So we got a lot of guys that we're going to hit. Gabe and I and the Sports Grid crew, we're down there. Hopefully have a good time in L.A. And then after L.A., party time. See you guys. I go out to meet my girlfriend in Vegas for a week because I haven't had a vacation in 2.5 years. And hopefully I'm still bringing my equipment. But it's going to be nice to get away as I look at the 2 feet of snow on my driveway right now. Get bent, Winter. I'm out of here.
I will see you in Vegas.
Yes. You're actually going to be playing Summerlin when I'm going to be staying out there. I think we're going to the Sun Coast. I don't do the Strip anymore. I used to go to the El Cortez, my dump on Fremont, and it used to be like $29 a night. You knew everybody, but as Pizzola probably will tell you, everything changes over time. People find about those little hidden gems, and now it's as expensive as these two. Oh, want to go to a cool hotel? Like, you know what I mean? All these hipsters are coming in there and taking over our hotel. I'm done. Now I go out to where the locals play, the Sun Coast, South Point. That's where it's at, and I find you win a lot more out there as well.
All right, well, let's jump into this before we get to the Olympics bets, and you can hit the time codes if you don't want to hear about this, but it's just I've been finding it really fascinating, and since the show is the Pat Mayo Experience, not whatever the fuck your name is experience, I can talk about whatever I want on this show. So, It came out like 2 days ago that Ian Poulter was offered, I think it was 20 million pounds to go play over in Saudi Arabia full time and give up like the Ryder Cup, European golf, everything like that, PGA Tour. And then it comes out last night that like Bryson got offered, I think it was $130 million. DJ is not saying how much that he was offered by this. Phil came out and essentially torched the PGA Tour for being too greedy and not giving the players any of the money, although Phil's like second in the Forbes like richest athletes list like every year for the past like 2 decades. Either way, apparently he wants more money out of this, and I'm trying to figure out whether or not anyone is going to take this, or are they just going to use this, Rob, as leverage against the PGA Tour to get more money?
I think it's probably the latter. There'll be some sort of negotiations with the PGA Tour. Like anyone who takes it, unfortunately, like the way that our society is nowadays is going to view this person as greedy and they don't care about winning and whatever. So there's like that part of it that you have to assess whenever you're just going to leave what's considered the best league in the world to take more money to play elsewhere. This kind of stuff happens in soccer all the time, by the way, with like Chinese league and Saudi Arabian league offering players an absurd amount of money to come over. And every once in a while, you just get one player that ends up going over in the peak of their career. But I think it's probably unlikely to happen. I think the PGA is going to recognize that, we got to do something and pay our guys a little bit more money here. But I think it's interesting whenever all this stuff comes up, because I've always wondered about North American, like major sports leagues, and everyone kind of has a monopoly, right? You never see another league come in and be competitive. But at some point, you have to figure that all these leagues are greedy. Someone else would come along and say, you know what? I mean, we're just going to pay these guys a lot more to come join our league. And I think that's an existential threat for a lot of these major sports leagues. So it'll be interesting to see. But if Bryson was off the PGA Tour, I mean, I probably wouldn't lose any sleep because I really can't stand watching the guy, to be completely honest.
Well, I mean, you can't stand watching Bryson. Like, you might not like Bryson, but watching Bryson is one of like the top
I'm
5.
With Rob. I'm with Rob.
Watching Bryson is like a top 5 thing that happens in golf right
Actually,
now.
It's the worst.
Annoying.
It's annoying. He's a tool. He made up a fake rivalry with Brooks Koepka. I got to hand it to the guy. He's pretty smart, though, to get those extra monies. This is the whole thing about these guys. It's like, really? Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to fit. Oh, he's walking with his cleats in my interview, Brooks Koepka and him. And oh, yeah, I got an idea, Bryson. Let's go out and have a drink and we'll figure this out. We can get all these tweets and get all that extra money for doing absolutely nothing, not doing anything on the tour. I think the whole thing's stupid. And by the way, Pat and Rob, Pat, you know I love golf as much as anybody. These guys are overpaid to begin with. Have you seen the purses in these tournaments? Anyway, I'm not going to get started.
Well,
they are. A guy who finishes T36 gets a monster paycheck, man. It's a joke.
But it's relative to how much money the tour is making. If the tour is making money off these,
how does the tour make that much money too? That's what I'd like to know. How do they make that much money to pay these guys? Really?
Yeah.
I understand. I'm just saying it's ridiculous.
But like, I don't like they're like it. My point is that you have a major North American sports league who's making a shit ton of cash, and
it's also a fucking league that has a bunch of guys with fake feuds who get paid for doing nothing. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Oh, we're going to get paid for popularity and tweets. Go fuck yourself. It's a fucking joke. Anyway, go out there and win.
Well, here's the thing, though. Everyone seeing, I'm Team Bryson. I like Bryson. But everyone else in the world hates Bryson. And so now this comes out. What's the downside to Bryson taking this money? What, are they going to kill him some more? No. Like people already hate him. People already hate him. So why not have $130 million and really nothing changes in your life except you have to go play on this tour and maybe hang out with Greg Norman?
It depends what he values.
Exactly. Sorry, Rob. I'm just going to say, first of all, I don't hate Bryson DeChambeau. I just think he's a tool. And I think he's really annoying. And I don't like all the things that these guys done. They're fake little feuds and stuff like that. I see through your act. Like, you think we're stooges? We watch all this stuff. Anyway, science man, whatever. Oh, I'm a driver. Look at me. Yeah, guy. Okay. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I love golf, Pat. You bet on it too. You're amazing. You won awards with this stuff. But I'm just saying, this whole sport, and Phil Mickelson, he's one to talk. This is unbelievable. But anyway, I would take the money too. I can't be a hypocrite. I just have issues. This is the only thing I have issues with. This stuff, due to popularity, you could be a guy like Ricky Fowler, who's done nothing for a long time, and cut a check where a guy's grinding out cuts. That's the thing. I don't give a shit about your popularity. How did you finish? T36, you get a check for T36. T14, you get a check for T14. Fuck the social media bullshit. That's my statement.
Fair enough. I mean, I think with Bryson or anyone who gets an offer from somewhere, it's a matter of what that individual values, right? And if it's more important for Bryson to prove himself on tour and be the best in the world and what he's been working at, then he's going to stick around. If not, if he values money over everything else, then he'll go. I mean, that everyone can make that decision. I really appreciate that Bryson does whatever he can to try to gain an edge. That's what I like about him. So like the spritzing of the golf balls on the driving range to mimic what the course conditions are. He spends an entire offseason, figuring out how to drive the ball 50 yards further so that he can drive it way further than everyone else. I appreciate that commitment to getting better at the sport and trying to figure out a way to gain an edge. I just can't handle watching the guy on the course. Like, it's so annoying. I watch his YouTube channel. He's a completely different person, like as an actual human being. But you put this guy in some sort of competitive environment and he becomes like the worst person on the planet in that type of situation. So that's my opinion on Bryson. But I mean, to each their own in terms of what they value. If I got, someone started paying me, 5 times what I was making betting on sports to go bet on sports somewhere else, then I'm going to go do that probably because I value money. I don't care about being the best sports bettor around. That doesn't bother me. I just want to make money and retire early. That's what it's about for me. For other people, it's very different. So we'll see. But I think Bryson's more of a competitive guy.
I just see and I don't know why this is necessarily. Maybe they're in bed with the PGA Tour. Maybe it's just an extreme dislike of the Saudis. And I mean, I get that part of it, of why you wouldn't want to go do that. But I think if people from the rest of the world go the other way, that maybe they would have similar conversations to be had. I don't know. But all of golf media, Cam, is how dare you even consider this?
We're not golf media. We're guys who bet on golf. You write about it. I bet it, and we've been doing it for a long time and doing it successfully. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you though, I got a lot of issues with the PGA Tour. I think this sport, I'm watching tournaments where guys win at 30 under. It's very simple. You make rough longer. You don't make courses longer. You actually make them shorter with more penal, with like bigger bunkers, more water and rough. But you know what? Ooh, we're golfers. Oh, you can't embarrass us. I remember when the Canadian Open was won at a 4 underscore. Good luck. They have majors into the 20s now. And another thing, Pat, if I was in charge of things, there's no more BS. This guy plays Bridgestone. This guy plays Nike. This guy plays TaylorMade. At the Masters, we play a Masters ball. Everything is conformed. Everybody's on the same playing field. I have a lot of different opinions about this stuff. And I think the R&A and PGA Tour should get together because I love the sport. I'm watching these tournaments, though. These guys are going so damn low now, and you're making it easy for them. Like, the sport needs to be much harder. That's why we like the majors. It's ridiculous right now. I'm seeing, like, back in the day, Joe Durant winning at minus 38. Get bent. It's nuts. Come on.
Rob, I'm just trying to
Do you agree, Pat? You're a smart guy.
It depends.
Don't you think there's a problem?
It depends on the tournament, I think. I think these early season tournaments, the ones in Hawaii, the resort courses, I mean, I don't care if it goes to 30 under, someone still has to win. But I do like the tournaments more. Like, even at Torrey Pines with 15 under being a winning score. I
like Torrey Pines.
It didn't play easy by any stretch of the imagination. It seemed difficult. There was a bunch of guys who finished over par. So I think if you can sprinkle in 5 to 10 of those tournaments and make sure that all the majors are really hard, I think I'm good with that. I don't mind.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I want to kick back and watch people go pin stocking. It sucks from a betting perspective when you get into the minus 25 because it becomes the randomness really goes out the window because it becomes a putting competition, which inherently makes more of the field in play when you have these more difficult tournaments.
There goes Willie Zalatoris.
Yeah.
Putting competition. He gone.
Well, when you have these more difficult courses, the cream of talent tends to rise to the top over 4 days versus one of these other ones where someone could just have a heater putter for 2 rounds, go 12 under, and then they just need to play okay golf the rest of the time and they win. So I'm kind of torn on it. It's not that part that bothers me. It's just Rob hit on it. The PGA is printing money right now. The
business.
The purses being put up for this tournament are generally from the sponsors. So they need to recoup that by selling tickets at the event and everything like that. And the PGA is just keeping the TV money?
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, what we all have to realize is every single one of these major North American sports leagues, not just the PGA Tour, they're a business. They're in it to make money.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to try to do what they do and get away with underpaying the players as much as possible. They're going to do stuff where the Cam's option of having one tour ball, it would never happen because they're making so much money off sponsorship.
I just said at the Masters or something
right.
I think things need to be different. It's a special tournament, right? It's just one of those things. And this guy's got this type of driver. How do I, you know what I mean? I conforming things. I know this is probably an archaic old man, get off my lawn type of opinion, but I think it works at the Masters because it's a really special tournament, right? And I think certain things need to be sacred. And to Pat's point, you're right. Another thing, Pat, with these stupid tournaments at 3 courses, I can't bet first round leader. I can't do this group. It's actually, they're hurting themselves from a betting perspective because they're on these course rotations. And we know, one course, Monterey's easier than this and blah, 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 blah. We saw it the other time. Guys are going low on one track and then they're shooting $1 million on another. And you can't really do, hey, you want more betting and you want more stuff for your sport. That's the issue that I have, I guess, with the California swing in these early tournaments. It's not good for the better.
They are getting way more handle though. The 3 fastest growing sports in terms of betting handle in North America are soccer, basketball, and golf. Golf had the big, the great thing for them was when COVID happened, they were one of the first leagues back. It was everything that everyone was betting on golf and a lot of people have hung around there. So they kind of got lucky from that sense and just the timing of things. But yeah, I mean, I get your point, Cam, about the competitive spirit. I'm a Formula One fan, right? And I watch every race knowing that 2 cars can win. 2 teams can win. And I always think to myself, I'd love to see all these guys in the same car.
Yes.
And see who the actual best driver is, but that will never ever happen. Obviously,
but Rob, that's a great point you bring up. That's the way it should happen. The guy's not a better driver; he's got better equipment. That's the thing. I forget what company it was. My buddy used to go down to their meetings in Montreal and stuff. I think they went under, but they were really good. They grinded out and they just got bought out basically by the bigger cars. He's a huge F1 guy. It was disgusting. He thinks like you. He's a very, very critical thinker, smart guy. He said the same thing. It's ridiculous. He goes, I could see one of my drivers in the best car. He's going to crush these guys, but he's dealing with junk.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. I'm not saying the balls and whatever are junk. I just want conformity so we actually see who is the best instead of this advantage and that. But anyway, we move on. I can't believe they offered Ian Poulter 20 million pounds. I like Poulter with his plaid pants and all, but really, is he that much of an attraction? Like, he's getting kind of up there too, guys. Come on. I like Rod Stewart. He's all right.
I think they just need names. Anyone with a name. And they need one person to sign, and then it's going to make it okay for everyone else to sign. And honestly, this league might go out of business in 3 years. So you go ask for your money up front, get it, and then just come back to the PGA Tour afterwards.
Yeah, you never know what those sheiks are doing.
Are these guys welcome back, though? Are they welcome back? Like, that's the one thing to consider as well, right?
Do you think that the PGA Tour has that much integrity that they wouldn't, if a lot of them left, if it was Phil and Dustin and Bryson and like legitimate names that left, you don't think they would welcome them back?
I don't know, because I don't know the organization well enough, but I do think that there's definitely people on this planet that would give a big fuck you to anyone who walks away. And that's probably a conversation that happens at this point with the PGA. Like,
you need legal documentation, right? It's like, if you guys leave, this is the consequences. Like, you can't come back for a certain amount of time or whatever.
What happens with unsanctioned things like the WGCs, whether they're in partnership with the PGA Tour, but they're not PGA, the Masters, for example. I mean, that's owned by the Masters. Would Phil still be allowed to play in the Masters?
Yes, he's a Masters winner.
Yep. Yeah. I would get, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to get into the legalities of how this could possibly work out, but I do think that whenever you have the threat of like your superstars leaving your sport, there's probably a conversation that happens between the league and that superstar saying, okay, what do we need to do to keep you around? For one, if that doesn't work, it's okay, just so you realize what's happening and what's at stake for you here. If you walk away now, you're walking away for good. I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to be what happens, but that's like a totally plausible scenario in my opinion.
See, I think the better chance, because I don't think this league is going to either work or be sustainable whatsoever. Yeah. The move would actually be, I think the concept is right, especially if you're going to go overpay people to come play on your tour. But the combination of Greg Norman in Saudi Arabia probably isn't it. It's probably venture capitalists and Tiger Woods in 4 years' time.
Yes.
That makes sense. You nailed it. Who knows what the Shark's going to do with those monies?
The
He's got a lot. His hand. He's got a shark he's got a hand in a lot of pies. Like, better check the books.
But these spin-off leagues, they never work, right? Like, we hear about these a lot. We saw one try what happened in European soccer this year, where they tried to form that Super League with the 10 teams. And then basically UEFA said to them, well, if you guys form this Super League, we're kicking all your teams out of Champions League and we're kicking all your teams out of Europa League. And that folded within 2 days, right? Like, it's just so hard to get players over to another. Like, these leagues really do have a monopoly. And unless the players are completely treated like garbage, which they're not on the PGA, they're all making very good incomes. Like, lots of tournaments happening. It's a very well-run organization, in my opinion. Then it's very difficult to get something off the ground nowadays. So I think it's just like, I think what's very likely to happen is probably the PGA has some sort of internal meeting, says, okay, we got to do something to make our players a little bit happier at this point. They do it, and we move on as it is right now.
You mentioned
social influencers for doing nothing.
Hey, don't besmirch my occupation, okay?
You know what, Pat? But the difference is you're good at it. You know how to do all that stuff. I get it. But you didn't come up with some fake rivalry with me or Pizzola or whatever. It's an act.
I mean,
it's a friggin' act.
I mean, listen, man. I'll rival. We can get into a rivalry. I'll just cut you part of the paycheck that comes in for it.
But
you wouldn't do that? You wouldn't do it?
I don't know. I like wrestling, but I'd rather see a guy get paid for performance. It just bothers me with this popularity. Like, guys like Fowler, like, I just laugh. It's like Baker Mayfield doing commercials for Progressive. You're one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, but they pick you to do an ad. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I can understand if Tiger Woods is doing it. I can understand Justin Thomas, all these other guys. Yeah, no offense. I like Ricky Fowler, Pat, but he hasn't done shit in years.
Yeah, but
he shouldn't be part of this popularity.
Well, he's doing some commercials now. He's doing some commercials.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? He doesn't win. He doesn't make cuts.
Yeah, but
nothing.
The Baker Mayfield thing actually makes a ton of sense to me of why he's in all these commercials, because
he's a loser.
No, because all these corporations are looking at it's like, we need a spokesperson for our brand. Who can we get? So essentially, these companies were investing in Baker Mayfield being good. Is essentially what
Bad
happened.
investment.
He was the number one draft pick, and they were like, "Oh, we
Yep.
can get him for cheaper." It was like when Under Armour signed Steph Curry, and it was just
Yep.
like, or Jordan Spieth for that matter. They got them before they became too big, and it really benefited them. So these other companies are looking at like, "Hey, who are some rookies we can invest in that we think that are going to be good, that people are going to like?" And Baker Mayfield just turned out not to be that guy. Ricky still sells though. Ricky's not good, and he's
Yes,
still kids.
exactly.
Little kids love Ricky.
The promotional aspect of sports is massive. Like think about the UFC. Okay, these guys hype fights like these guys actually want to murder one another, and then after the fight, these guys are hugging each other. You know what I said about you? We were just trying to, like it. The promotional aspect of sport is massive. And listen, I mean, we live in a different era, obviously, Cam. Like, incentivizing people for growing their social media following and things of that nature. It's just drawing more attention to a younger demographic.
I get it. But a lot of the time Rob, you and Pat are very intelligent people. A lot of the time it's bullshit. You can manipulate numbers so much.
Sure.
Every Twitter follower that I have is a legit Twitter follower. I didn't have to pay anybody.
You know
for
what?
it. I don't care.
I will confirm that right now. Let's see.
I'll do a Twitter audit at the same time as well.
That's what
I
I'm
would
doing.
guarantee.
I don't even know what the hell a
fake
Twitter audit is. All I know is I've never paid a cent for anybody, and I don't care if you follow. I just want to be a friend to the community. If we have picks, I want us all to win together. I have a different approach to this shit. I'd rather just, play. Anyway, I'm a different cat, I guess. I understand. Like I should probably be doing a lot more, Pat, and I respect you, but you do it well.
You know
a lot
what?
of people do it and they do it poorly.
You have 97% of your followers are real people, Cam. That's pretty good. That's way higher than 99% of people.
Yeah, your bot count is very low.
So you took the over on my on authentics, other than robots, and I covered the spread.
Yeah.
Right?
For example, I have like 10,000 fake followers. Apparently, I mean, I've never paid for followers. They just kind of add up.
No, I understand, Pat. But the thing is, you also are smart. Like I'm going to be honest with you, and Pizzola, you guys are pretty sharp with technology. You put out those stories. I love reading your golf stuff. Link to here, edit. I could barely turn on a computer. Like I'm actually proud of myself when I figured out my phone last week.
Exactly. You don't sell yourself short. You haven't tried to do these things.
I'm going to tell you why I get frustrated. Okay. That's the thing. It's like when I get asked questions on trivia, even Morency was like, wow, you should be on trivia. Like I guessed yesterday, like how much a curling rock weighs. I nailed it. I go, yeah, it's about, between 40 pounds, almost like a bag of potatoes, right? Like I know things, but when it comes to technology, I find it very, you know what, Pat? I just don't have the mind. I'm like Homer Simpson. Why? He's smashing I can't build things. It's just, it takes a calm, cool person to do that stuff. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not. I'm a very emotional guy. And I'd like to be better at that stuff. But you do a great job. You guys both do and by the way, Rob, I joined BetStamp.
Oh, I appreciate that. See, this is what I'm saying. Like you kind of sell yourself short on this stuff because you don't have a lot of experience with it. But frankly, your power went out last week during the video. We were recording just like this. Your power goes out. Me and Pat are like, oh no, there's no way Cam's going to be able to figure this out on his phone. 5 minutes later, you had figured it out on your phone. Credit to you, but you just really haven't put yourself in the position to do these things yet. I probably because it feels overwhelming, and I completely understand that. But my point is that you're a lot smarter than you make it seem. Like you're not a dummy. You could easily figure all this stuff out as well. I worked with you for several years, so
Rob, I don't want to sound like a jerk. I won an academic award in school. I won a documentary. No, I just don't have patience. And the thing is, actually doing stuff by myself, like Mayo inspired me. When I worked with him, I was always like, wow. I saw him cutting his own tape and stuff like that. I did shit on reel-to-reels with chalk and razor blades. It looks like people are doing coke rather than putting documentaries together. It's like, oh, you like my grease pencil? Like these guys are on computers. Ding, 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 ding. You know what I mean? And it's like, whoa. I watch Mayo edit stuff. It's fascinating. But the good news is when you're your own guy, Mayo, I will say this about the company I work for now. There's no tech guy. No. When something goes wrong, I got to figure it out myself. So at least I could do the basics. You get
Well-
my drift? Like
well-
I can't call anybody, the IT guy.
I think a lot of this too, and I think Rob and I benefit from this more than a lot of people, is that the age difference. I mean, Rob, I don't actually know how old you are. I assume that you and I are very much around the same age. And Cam, you're like 8 to 10 years older than us, 7 to 10 years, let's say. But that gap, that 7-year gap between Rob and I's use of technology growing up and being integrated with computers, even at a very low level, like, when was the first time you remember being on the internet, Rob? Like 6th grade, 5th grade, 7th grade, somewhere around there?
Even earlier than that. So I'm in my mid 30s, and I used to have 10 hours a month of AOL. Dial-up access. So that's what I first remember. I would have probably been in like somewhere around grade 3 or 4. But you're right, Pat. Like my dad bought me a computer, and I learned everything myself just through experience, right? Like how to navigate everything. And I was brought up on technology. So I guess that's a valid point because it's quite different. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was probably grade 3 when I first started using the internet, somewhere around there.
So the
I'm
big
13 years older than you guys too. You sold me shirt, Pat. Must be the oil of Olay, skincare.
but
I'm
but
almost
but
50,
the
dude.
whole point is, like, we were using computers in junior high, in high school,
Yeah.
where it probably wouldn't have been available for you for like easy access till hell, you were probably out of college or like last few years of college or something.
We
like
used
that.
to have keyboarding, Pat. Like, like there was no like internet. Like, this is how you type for a job if you get like a news. You know what I mean? Like keyboard. Like we didn't have like, let's go on the internet and learn this and edit this. Yeah, you're right. It was pretty basic and shit. But anyway, I respect you guys, and I guess that's why I gave myself a pat on the back last week. I'm kind of glad I figured it out. I just took a deep breath and went wild. It's just it would be nice to be better. Let's put it that way.
Gold picks for the 2022 Winter Olympics. I will start off, and
Yes.
I am not going to pretend to be some sort of expert on the Winter Olympics. In fact, I didn't know they had even started when we started recording the show. Apparently, some of the team sports, like Rob said, started last night for women's hockey, maybe even men's hockey at the same time. But here's what I'm going with as my gold pick. I consulted my curling guy, and this is what he gives me. He gives me even odds, plus 100, Great Britain women. Top 3 finish in women's curling. That is my gold pick for the Winter Olympics.
Wow.
Excellent pick.
I love
Excellent
that.
pick.
I was actually going to listen. We'll go gold, silver, and bronze, but like I was mostly looking at long shots here. So it's very likely I'm going to go like 0-3, 1-2, something like that. But my short list, I had Great Britain to win the gold in women's curling at plus 375. Which I mean, I think is a fantastic bet based off of the 4 minutes of research I did this morning on women's curling. But I was looking at metrics like force efficiency and hammer efficiency.
Yes.
They're a very strong defensive team. They allow less than 5 points allowed per game. Very good form for the British women as well. So I think that's a banger. I like the podium thing. I'd bet them at some gold. I think Sweden and Canada, as much as I hate to say it with Canadians, I'll root for them for gold. But I think those teams are a little bit overpriced relative to the Brits.
Yeah, because I actually have another women's curling one coming up as my bronze pick in a little bit, involving those other 2 teams that you mentioned. But yeah, this seems to be one that curling people are on board with. I got some curling. It's one good thing about living in Canada, Cam. I have some curling specialists in my life. They know the stuff.
I love curling, and that Rob's right. The Brits, they play it like Pat. It's like a major in golf. They're happy with par. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just don't have one of those ends where they take like a 3-banger from you and like crush you. And that's the whole thing about curling. It's a patience game. It's just one of those things. And when you have hammer and have advantage, then you take advantage. But sometimes, you'll even let them get one to avoid a disaster. So the Brits, I don't know how they got so good at curling, but they're amazing. Like, I don't understand. Like, I thought they just drank tea and smoked a lot of cigarettes and got drunk at the pub. Like, when did Great Britain get great in curling? And watch out. I got another one. Watch out for China. These guys are figuring it out. Like I told you about India and the Summer Olympics and a country surging upwards. Chinese, curling and winter sports, they're getting better and better all the time.
See, I think the Japanese women are also a sleeper,
Yes,
like
you're
long
right,
shot
Rob.
sleeper.
You're
Just
right.
based off of what I'm seeing in the world rankings, how they fared this year. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know everything about curling, but the reality is that the sports books that post these odds have no idea either. I can, from experience, I can tell you, having consulted for sports books in the past, when the Olympics come around, they put one trader on it. They say, buddy, go ahead, throw up whatever lines you think that are fair lines, put some low limits on them, and you're like, we're not going to get burnt on the Olympics. So the reality is, I think that a lot of these lines actually are soft. And because we're Canadians, any sports books that service Canada as well are probably going to inflate the prices on Canadians, since they know that that's going to be bet a little bit more. So when we're not betting on Canada, we're probably going to get good prices in events that people think Canadians are good at. So I think that's another thing to consider here for curling, because everyone thinks, Canada is the gold standard and you can get better prices elsewhere.
Well, the other thing as well, when it comes to Olympic betting, you mentioned that they basically just have one guy throwing out. You mentioned the handle on the Olympics outside of when the pro hockey players are playing doesn't really receive much action in terms of the sports betting market whatsoever. And it does feel like is the Olympics, Rob, something that a lot of sites would cap your bet at?
Yes, because like I said, there's you only have one person trading it. I'm speaking in generalities here, but the reality is pretty much anyone that's offering Olympics for this Winter Olympics, they don't really have a bunch of dedicated people on it. And because of that, when they're not really paying attention all that much, it's one of those things where they're going to set limits really low so that they're not overexposed on any specific outcome. And basically you'll have a trader who's checking their liabilities like every couple hours and being like, okay, we're getting a bunch of bets on this. We're going to have to move the odds in that market, and they'll adjust that market. But because of that, you're very unlikely to be able to make a big bet on the Olympics unless you're, let's say, a VIP or long-term losing better at a sports book where they'll increase your limit for you. That's the reality of it.
Wow, guess who's not going to be limited? Pat Mayo. That's perfect news. Long-term loser right here. Cam, because it does seem to me like in the NFL, it's a very efficient market. Like, Rob won't bet a game unless he feels like he has like a real edge on it, whether that be a full point, a half point, anything like that. With these Olympic markets, like there's a good chance that the viewers know more about these sports than the bookmakers making the odds for the sports.
Excellent point, Pat. And I don't know if this leads me to my gold pick, but Rob, do you want me? Is it okay if I go
ahead?
first?
Go ahead.
Okay,
let's do it.
Here, I'm going to go this, and this is from a listener. And I literally did same as you, Pat. Like you look at the standings and you look at recent results, and it's like, yes, men's alpine downhill. Beat. I don't even know this guy's name. His first name is Beat.
Beat Fuse.
Beat Fuse. Yeah, like beat a drum. Take this guy podium -120. He's on fire. He's been great in his last events. Also, I'd sprinkle on the +350. He's a second choice behind Kilday to win the men's alpine downhill. Beat Fuse.
Yeah, beat. This is Cust guy right here.
I like this.
If you got Beat in his name, then that's all Cust is concerned about.
Tell him not to bet it because I've already bet it.
He's the Swiss downhill, currently +300 at DraftKingsSportsbook.com in order to win this. But you say -120 for a podium?
Yeah, you're damn right, Pat. Let's do it. We're going to go, beat everybody. Beat, let's go. Bring home some money. Some Swiss, what is it? Are we dealing with francs? I know they're on the euro. But,
Euro.
Is Switzerland on the euro? Are you sure?
Yes, they are. Yeah,
we're going to find out.
They are in the euro.
They
have to be.
I know they're in the EU, but I mean the monetary system also boils down to
what's their money?
No, they're on francs.
Yeah,
francs.
They're in the EU, but they wouldn't take the euro. The Swiss franc, the Swiss like their monies. Okay,
pay me in Frankfurters there. Beat. Let's go, Franks. I'm in.
I like that they don't conform like the rest of society does with the euro.
The Swiss are an interesting lot. I've been to Switzerland before. What a beautiful, beautiful country. Lucerne, Switzerland is one of the most gorgeous places, man. Like I'll tell you, I love Switzerland. Yeah. Very expensive though.
Because there's two separate things. There's the European Union, obviously, in terms of the trade deals and everything like that and moving from country to country. But there's also the Eurozone as it pertains to using the currency. Because I believe Denmark is in the EU, but I still believe they use the kroner instead of using the euro.
The Seinfeld episode.
That's Iceland.
You got a kroner
Iceland
comprehension problem. Remember on the plane? Yeah. He goes, hey, vegetable lasagna. How's your kroner? Remember that?
I do remember that.
Kroner comprehension problem. Guys, hey, vegetable lasagna, shut up.
Oh, man.
That was a great episode.
Yeah, very funny. Elaine was great in that episode.
So we have Beat Fwez for Cam. Fwez. In men's downhill alpine skiing, -120 to be on the podium. I have the Great Britain women curling top 3 finish, so a podium finish at even money. Rob, your gold selection at the Winter Olympics.
I am going to go with the Great Britain men at plus 200 to win gold in men's curling. And they are skipped by Bruce Mouat, who is Scottish, actually,
Of course
Cam.
he is.
Yes,
you're
of
right.
course you would.
The Scots love curling and golf. That's what they do.
Part of the reason that we have Great Britain and Canada at the same price in this event is because of what I had mentioned earlier. Most of the North American sports books, you're going to get people who want to bet Canada to win the gold. So you get like a little bit of an inflated price on Great Britain here. But if you do look at the metrics between these two teams over the last couple calendar years, the British have pretty much an edge across the board. That's not to diminish the Canadian team in any way, but we're talking about the British team being the gold standard right now and probably not getting the credit because of the fact that they are British and no one thinks that British can curl, even though they really can curl. So I will take them at plus 200. Again, for my picks this week, I'm not really going for like sure things. If I go 1 and 2 and win one of the plays, I'll actually be happy with it. But I think this is a solid bet. Like I always come up with my own prices before I look at the market. And when I was doing prices, I made Great Britain a big favorite in men's curling with Canada second, and we got them on an equal playing field. So I'll take the British.
Okay, so Cam, when it comes to, you could bet Canada most gold medals, 14 to 1.
I'm going to have to, I'm sorry, I'm not a good patriot. I'm going to have to pass.
And
Norway's favored, right?
Yeah, Norway. Norway's
the thing about Norway, they crush in the biathlon, anything
Yeah.
with a gun and cross-country skis and target shooting. These guys got ice in their veins. Like, I'm surprised there's no more Norwegian serial killers. They got nice straight hands. They don't shake. That is the hardest sport to me in the world. You're skiing, your heart's racing through your head, and you're knocking down targets. Like, what a sport biathlon is, man. Like, you have to have some kind of skill.
Cust claimed on Wednesday's show that biathlon would be very easy for him.
Okay, this guy, I got. Okay, so you're telling me Tim Andercust on skis with an elevated heart rate, sitting there, and then he's knocking targets down. Okay, yeah.
I mean, he's never.
I love Andercust, but biathlon is like the hardest sport. You need endurance and you need a steady hand when your heart's beating through your neck.
Well,
it's impossible.
He said he went skiing 6 times in his life and has never shot a gun before. So why wouldn't he be good at it?
Also, like the cross-country skiing.
So hard. So hard.
Cross-country ski is impossible. I
so
tried it up north. It's like, it is so hard, man. Like,
it's the definition of pain. Like one time, and my wife's like, "Let's go cross-country skiing. Let's try it out or whatever." I'm like, "All right, let's give it a shot." I'll never cross-country.
I'd rather help a buddy move than cross-country ski, like lift couches. Like, it's hard, man.
I'd rather eat my own hand.
I agree with Ron.
My hand than go cross-country skiing.
I agree. Like, yes.
When I threw it out to Twitter about like the best bets, people kept giving me U.S. men's curling as the gold medal. Because didn't they win last time? But wasn't it the same team the time before that? And it looked like they didn't know how to curl.
I don't have a good enough memory but it sounds familiar. I'll just say that the U.S. team, apologies to my American friends who are watching and listening, they weren't on my radar for this event. So I'd say like it would be probably a really big upset if they ended up winning again.
I mean, I think that actually makes a lot of sense. Gold medal odds right now, Cam, overall. Norway, minus 400 to have most golds. Germany, 6 to 1. The Russian Olympic Committee, 9 to 1. The USA, 14 to 1. Canada, 18 to 1. Any other nation not listed, 25 to 1. The Netherlands, 33 to 1. And China at 40 to 1. Sweden's 80 to 1.
You know what? I would look at Russian Olympic Committee at 9 to 1. They're a communist country in China. And I've already been looking early in these games. The Chinese are doing a lot better than they think. I'm watching curling. They're covering numbers. They had a hockey game against the Czech Republic, plus 2.5. They lost 3 to 1. They're in the game. I'm just going to say, and when you go overseas, it's a different rule book. A lot of the time, the home team is going to get calls in these events. If it's not, or if it's a judge sport, it's just something to think about. China is going to, and Russia are going to do better. So I'm just saying, just from a theory of a communist country, I would look to 9-1 with Russia to be, not saying they're going to win. Norway's going to win, but if you're looking for something in the plus, that's what country I would go with.
And who knows how many of these athletes' families have been threatened by Putin going into
another
these games
point.
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You always
Like,
have to consider that they might be actually competing for their families' livelihoods going forwards.
Yeah, kind of like the Mexican soccer team in CONCACAF. Like if they lose another game, like guys are going to get clipped. I hate to say it, and we shouldn't be talking like that, but these guys got problems. Like watching Canada beat you, that's not good for business when you go home. Click, 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 click.
Additionally, when we look at this, I saw one Belgium, I think it was a skier, like she's out. She couldn't do the quarantine. She didn't want to do it anymore. She's just out of the Olympics. She's going home. That I think that there is going to be some sort of impact. Like, doesn't that give China a huge advantage in this? That all the other athletes need to come in and like basically be in a hotel by themselves for 21 days.
Great
or
point.
Something?
And if China has COVID, you think they're going to tell it? Like, come on, man, this is China. Everything's going to be under the rug. It's kind of like the Super Bowl. You're not going to have any tests before to have star players out. Like China's going to have every advantage, and Russia's basically a wing of China when it comes to communism. So I think there's going to be a lot of shady stuff going on there, and I'd rather be on their sides from a betting perspective.
You can see it. I mean,
it's one of the biggest home field advantages we've probably ever seen in our life.
Exactly. Like, well, how do you put that into your supercomputer metrics, Rob? China at home, that's huge. It blows it up. There's smoke coming out the machine.
Who are the political allies of China, and who are the ones that China is like? China and the U.S. don't get along, right?
Exactly.
The U.S. is basically toast.
And they hate Canada too, because we're buddies with U.S. So there's issues there.
So we got to fade Canada and the U.S. basically on a lot of these bets.
Do they like Norway? Not really, but I
would assume indifference.
Yes, I would assume indifference too. But if a Norwegian standing in the way of Chinese getting gold to silver, things change.
Well, of course. Then you might get a lot of false positive tests.
Yes.
You never know. Listen, I've seen, we obviously we know about the doping scandals in the Olympics before with Russia, but we're joking about this, but I think it's only like a semi joke. Like this stuff could very easily happen, right? Like China's going to be competing for a gold and they're underdogs or something. And all of a sudden you get a number of positive tests on the other team. Like,
well, what about any sport that has to be judged?
Don't
you're
get
done.
Me started on judge.
You're done.
In my opinion, this might be a freezing cold take that a lot of people disagree with, but any sport where you cannot actually measure whether someone won or lost, like if we get to judging panels, I don't think I agree with you. Olympic event.
I agree with you, Rob. I was just watching the documentary, and by the way, Morency told me about it. It's called Bad Sport, the biggest screw jobs. It's on Netflix. They showed the Canadian pairs competition against the Russians. The biggest screw job
Soleil and Peltier?
Peltier, yes. It was, and I watched the whole thing, and they got to the judge.
Didn't the Russian team fall down in their routine?
Yeah, they fell down and they still, like, Canada had a perfect routine. Like, honest to God, it was just like, even the American people, they were like, I can't believe you screwed Canada like this. Like, everybody, the world came out. Rosie O'Donnell talked about it on her stupid show that's not on the air anymore. I'm telling you, it was nuts. And Rob, I agree with you. Anything where you can get to a judge so easy. How's your envelope? You like diamonds? I got something for you. No, I'm with Rob. It's not a freezing cold take. It's a red hot take. Let's go. Like
speed skating or bobsled or
it's timing.
It's time.
Yes.
You're doing something the fastest. Summer Olympics, high jump. You jump in the highest. We can measure that. But then you get into all this stuff where it's just like people watching and they're judging. I don't like that.
I agree.
I don't. I think we need to the Olympics needs to become stuff that's measurable. Period. No controversy. This is what happened. These were the times. This was the amount that was measured. That's it. We move on.
I will say a hot take is going to be that it couldn't have turned out better for Soleil and Peltier for the rest of their lives than what happened.
True. Yeah,
they got a lot of attention from that. They ended up getting a
gold.
The golds as well, right? They got the ceremony where they all got gold, or what another sham of a ceremony that was. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It increased their popularity tenfold. Are they still together, or they split apart?
Were they ever together in the first place?
Oh yeah,
I think they were. Oh yeah. They were basically having sex on the ice. That routine was hot. Like, it was soft porn.
It really was.
And no offense to the Russians, like the Russian team so elegant. No, Canada was basically like, if they could have taken their clothes off and done it naked in skates, they would have. It was red hot. Very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Silver.
They were definitely something was going on behind the scenes there.
Silver
Silver picks.
Picks. Silver. Sorry. I'm dying here.
You okay?
Oh man, I was just laughing. Just you silver advertisements.
Let's go with the team that I
laugh.
let's go with the team that I don't want to come in silver. I need them to win gold here, but this seems to be the biggest market inefficiency out there right now. And Rob, I know you have a better number. I know that a lot of people have a better number, but even still looking at it today, the number seems off to me. It is The Rock. The Rock says the Russian Olympic Committee men's hockey team plus 175 to win gold. They are the only team with real players, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, they are. Now, when we talk about real players, we also have their Nikita Gusev is going to be on their first line, right? Like failed NHLer, basically. So yes, they do have real players relative to what everybody else is rolling out there, but it's not like the star Russians in the KHL nowadays are like miles ahead of everyone. I don't disagree with the bet. They should be favored by far. They're very likely to win. But like we got to pump it's not like they're rolling out Sergei Fedorov in his prime to play here. It's like their first liners are guys that didn't really cut it in the NHL. So that's like me. I'm just clarifying. I agree with your bet, Pat. I think Russia is going to win. The ROC, the Russian Olympic Committee, will win the gold. That
was my bet.
We all going to bet that. Everyone's going to bet.
Like other than who else is going to beat? No offense to Canada, like they're not going to win this.
Hey, settle down. Daniel Winnick, very important player for that team.
I like Daniel Winnick, hard worker. What about Finland at 4-1 offers a little bit of? I guess they're like the team that could take out Rock.
I know nothing about these Russian goalies is the problem for me. Like typically all these Russian, like Vasilevsky,
Finland has good goalies, Rob. That's what
I'm saying. Like I could see maybe Finland just by virtue of having a good goalie steals a game or something. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be like Russia's got the best team on.
What's Finland to medal? Pat, can I get a line here? Like something low? No,
Finland to medal in
hockey.
In hockey,
is it like $1.40? I'd lay the juice. They're going to medal.
Top three finish for Finland is minus 145.
Oh, sold. That's my silver pick. I was going to take Rock. I'm going with Finland now. I don't want to lay juice, Pizzola. I prefer the pluses like you, but at 45 cents, these guys are the second favorite. Like, come on. Finland, baby. Suomi.
Though, Finland always has those games where like they have like 16 shots on net and can't score a goal, right? That's the problem with.
Oh, there's a problem with a lot of teams. Chris Chelios' son's playing for China, for God's sakes. This whole hockey tournament's got problems.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Chris Chelios' son is playing for the Chinese national team?
Was he born in China?
Damn right. They got a lot of Canadians and Americans on that team. If you don't make it to the other team, China's not screwing around. They actually might compete. They have a couple guys.
What you're saying is China is basically the Canadian farm team at this point.
Yeah, or a bunch of geezers and young guys.
Well, because we remember that this happens in other sports. Like remember the World Baseball Classic where Frank Catalanato is playing for Italy because he can't make the USA team.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If your name is somewhat Italian, you can play for Team Italy.
Right, exactly. Yes, I get it. All right.
I don't know. Like it's Russia, Finland, Canada, Sweden, Czech, Switzerland, USA. They're 20-1. I know Paul was telling me he has money on Germany from before all the pros pulled out. But like, wouldn't Germany be a team to look at here, considering like probably their entire team just plays in Europe anyway, and they can send who they would be sending in the first place?
I mean, the advantage of Germany would be like having Draisaitl, right? And I don't know.
I will say this about Germany, Rob and Pat. You guys might agree. Unders probably. Those guys love boring you to death with a stone cold New Jersey Devils Jacques Lemaire trap, and they try to beat you in a 2-1, 1-0 game. Yes. They'll play it tight to the vest. So if they're big dogs, I'd probably take Germany on the puck line.
Germany, Finland, Switzerland are notorious under teams at these tournaments. They play like very trap style. And then you get like Russia, Czech Republic, and the U.S. usually are
Slovakia.
They open it up a little bit more. Yeah, more offensive style. I don't know if any of that applies this year because I actually looked at the rosters for these teams and I could probably identify maybe 15%, if that, of the players going to the Olympics this year. But I mean, I think that kind of makes it fun. Like a lot of people, I would have obviously loved to see NHL players there and some great hockey, but like I'll still watch it regardless. And you might recognize a guy here or there that you don't even remember existed, like you watched play like 7 years ago or something like that. I think it's going to be fun to watch these games regardless.
I'm looking at the top goal scorer right now. Eric Stahl is playing in this tournament.
Yes,
He
he
sure
is. He's
is.
Team Canada captain, buddy.
Oh, Michael
Top goal scorer.
Oh, my guy Michael Froelich is in the mix.
I like
Frolik.
Michael Frolik. Good player.
Top goal scorer. I've already. These are things I've actually bet. I did bet Nikita Gusev 22-1.
Good.
And I
pick.
bet Mikhail Grigorenko 14-1 as well, just because of I think that by virtue of Russia likely to win this tournament, they're likely to play the most games and get to the finals. I was just basically looking through their squad and saying okay, who are the goal scorers lighting it up in the KHL? Who's going to get the power play time? And those were the two I identified. But 14-1 and 22-1 on good Russian goal scorers, I think is a very good price.
So I got Russia to win. Cam has Finland to medal. What's your silver pick, Rob?
I'm going to have to move around here a little, see what I got going on. All right. We will go, to the women's alpine slalom.
Can I guess?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, let's take a look.
I'm
going
good.
to talk for a bit because I got to look here. Women's alpine. I think you're going to go a little bit down the board. Maybe not the top pick. Schifrin.
That's actually a decent guess. Here's what I'm going to take. I'm going to take Lena Durr of Germany plus 333 to finish on the podium. So the thing with women's alpine slalom is you have two competitors. Cam mentioned Michaela Schifrin of the US and Petra Vlhova of Slovakia, who are pretty heavily favored to finish 1-2. And if you look at the results from this season and the World Cup of slalom, they've been pretty consistently 1-2. What I want to do when I'm trying to figure out someone who's going to come in third is someone who's been very consistent with their performances this year.
So so you're looking for the Matt Kuchar of female
exactly.
slalom.
Lena Durr is not going to be able to win the gold medal. There's going to be a lot of people in her price range that can win the gold. Because
she's not even listed, Rob. Is she listed?
Yeah,
I see Sarah Hector.
No, I got her right here. DraftKings Sportsbook. Lena Durr, 22-1.
Okay, but I'm looking for podium.
Yeah.
So anyways, she's not winning gold. Don't bet gold because one of these two is going to win gold. But you want someone consistent who can come in on the podium, right? And all these other ones that have a higher ceiling, all these other skiers that have a higher ceiling, they're going to be going for gold. They're going to be you run into your problems. You know what I'm saying? You're more likely to have a fall, have something happen. And that's what we're seeing consistently in the World Cup this year is other people, other skiers in this price range have had a lot of did not finishes because it's very hard to compete with these top two. Lena Durr, Germany to medal, plus 333. We're going to will it to happen.
I was in the wrong sport. I had women's alpine
Skiing?
giant slalom.
No, regular slalom.
Yeah.
Regular
What is the
You're
difference
tricking
between
me.
giant? Is it just a bigger hill for one of them?
Isn't it distance longer? It's
Yeah,
gotta be.
I would
What's
say they
giant?
take you further up the hill, right?
Yeah,
I think they just take you up to the top instead of midway. That's my feeling.
It's an educated guess. I think you're absolutely correct.
I have no clue, but I'm guessing.
I don't either, but I think you're right. Yeah.
To let everyone know from the Wednesday show, we briefly talked about the Olympics. Chloe Kim is very Andercursed at this Olympics for snowboarding. Just
I'm not touching the snowboarding categories.
No.
I'll stay away.
How about
Snowboarding doesn't do it for me.
How about you just bet America or Canada in snowboarding? I feel like you're going to do pretty well.
Probably.
Or-
I don't know. I don't know.
Do other
that
countries-
that
do
ginger
other-
guy, Sean White, he's a lock, right?
I think that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, he's competing though again. I
Oh,
think
is he
I just
Good.
I don't.
This guy can
yeah.
win.
Are you putting money on Ross Rebliati too?
I love Ross Rebliati. Nice guy. I met him.
Did
Guy's cool dude.
You smoke
Yeah,
a
he's
smoke
very
a joint with
misunderstood.
him?
He is misunderstood. The guy was a pro marijuana like back in the day, and all these turkeys are popping pills and stuff like that. It's like, leave him alone. Like,
But on top of that, he only went to a party where they were smoking it. He wasn't smoking it himself, and they got him on a technicality. They screwed Ross.
He won though, didn't he?
Ah.
He got his gold.
Maybe he got it back. There was a I don't know. I don't actually remember if he got it or not. He did?
over under bong hits 17 and a half over. Like, yeah, come on. He's a nice guy though. I'm a big fan. I really like that guy.
Did you see that apparently Vancouver might host the 2030 Olympics again?
It's a good spot. Vancouver's got everything. Why not?
I mean, the people there did not
why
enjoy
not? It's just
having
like
it.
a complete drain on the Canadian economy. If
We're already screwed anyway. You see the way Trudeau gives away money. It's like you might as well go with like just drop it from helicopters for everybody in every province. Like I feel sorry for the next generation, Pat. I hope you're a good father and it leads to something big where you own a network and you too, Pizzola, Betstamp, making some money because kids are doomed. Like you think we got it? Like they're like this. Our debt is just out of control, man. Like it's.
People always
unfixable.
ask me, Rob, why do you buy into this Ponzi scheme that is crypto? Well, this is exactly why I buy into crypto, because like these governments are just printing dollars over and over. Oh, we're giving big dollar print. Let's print some more. It's devaluing the currency over time. Yeah. We're headed in a very bad direction. I mean, I don't want to I just want to say that's what came to mind right away. I'm not invest your own money however you want to, do whatever you want. But I mean, crypto is.
You get me in crypto, Rob? I already got on Betstamp because so part 2 is getting crypto.
If I could get you onto crypto,
yeah,
then you could probably do anything that you don't.
What
think
is it?
You can do.
What's the one? Ether coin, ass coin? Like what do we got?
Yeah, put like a little bit of your paycheck, average your cost in every week. Buy a little bit of Ethereum.
I give you $100 every week, and you invest it for me, and I'll give you a cut. How's that sound?
Well, I don't want to do that. I would rather teach you how to do it.
No cut. Rob, do it for you.
No, it's work. Everybody deserves it. Even like 1%. I'll give you a pack of smokes, but you don't smoke or something. Whatever you like, right? A nice lasagna.
I'll take a bottle of 25-year-old Macallan. How about that?
Ooh.
You would be a fucking fancy.
Rob, I told you that when I went to that Italian stag, that's how I won versus the firefighters in that. It was camera 2 Drew's, Pat. It was his stag. Remember me against like the firefighters? These guys are ripped, 6-packs, look like absolute killers. I got that prosciutto, frozen prosciutto. I'm not letting it go. 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Thank you. I'll take the $300 bottle of scotch and the full-size prosciutto. I win.
Hold on. Why were there? I wasn't there. Why were there beefcake firemen at Drew's bachelor party?
I don't understand, but these guys I was very pissed off when we had a feats of strength competition. I'm like, I'm dead, but it was simply won by will. I wanted the meat. And I wanted the scotch.
These were hired actors. These were hired actors to boost Cam's self-esteem.
Hey, it worked.
Is basically what it was.
He's told the story.
I don't care who they are.
Hey, you've told the story 3 weeks in a row. Obviously, it worked.
Yeah. Oh, have I told the story every week?
Well, you've told it before, but one of the episodes you were drunk, so you might not remember that one.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I just don't know what's happening anymore. See what happens when you get older? I'm like a grandpa. I'm telling the same damn stories all the time. Anyway, it was a good story, though.
It was a good story. I remember at my stag, I had a brand new mountain bike as a prize.
Oh yeah,
which we were doing a tune.
What is this world where you're giving out fucking prizes at your bachelor party?
No, so it's different. Like
it's cool.
Italians do like what's called a stag, which is very different from the bachelor party. Bachelor party's your closest friends. You go out, you get sloshed, strip club, whatever. You do whatever you want to do. The stag is more of a fundraising event for the groom, where the best man kind of plans a larger party, sometimes hundreds of people. And you hire some hostesses, you play a bunch of casino games, you have a bunch of prizes, you do a raffle and stuff like that. It's just a night where everyone open bar, get together, have a good time. And it's a fundraiser for the group.
Great times that year. It's great food.
And it was a great time, but Cam had his bicycle stolen from his apartment complex on the week of my stag as well. Some kids stole his bike. So when he walked into my stag and saw that a bicycle was one of the prizes, he was going to do whatever it took at all costs to win it. And the game we had was a toonie toss, where basically you'd buy $10 worth of toonies and you toss them from, quite a ways back. And whoever got it closest to the kickstand on the bike would win the bike. And Cam, very early, set the target for he was close within a couple inches. And on maybe the last throws of the night, he was beaten by one of my coworkers at the score.
Gary Mancini?
No, his name was Tuva. And,
that guy. He stole my bike.
Cam was not a happy guy.
I wasn't. I worked hard for that bike. And I told these guys, please, this is all I need. I really need this bicycle. Yeah, but he's a nice guy. But
he was trying to broker deals. He was. My bike was stolen this week. It would really mean a lot to me if I could have this bike. Yeah, it was a good time.
It was pathetic by me, actually, but it was good. Good night.
I like to think of myself as a somewhat good salesman, but I was unable to convince. I mean, I don't know about the stag thing. That sounds. Is it an Italian thing? Is it an Ontario thing? I don't know.
It's honestly a Woodbridge thing.
It's more of an Italian thing.
Yeah,
raise money. Like
it doesn't
Italians
really
are smart.
happen in Italy. This stuff doesn't happen in Italy. They come over here and they're like, no, what the hell are you guys doing? I don't know where it started, but it's a kind of a tradition in the community that I grew up in.
But I thought that we could earn a lot of revenue at my wife and I's wedding. I tried to convince her, it's like, look, we'll put up 10 grand and be the bank, and we will set up a blackjack table at our wedding. And my DGen friends will we can put it in the smoking section. They'll go outside, smoke cigarettes, play blackjack, and we will finance this the entire thing in like 3 hours. But she wouldn't do it. I was all for
I would have done. Oh yeah, I wish I was there.
Nothing says great party like taking money off your friends.
They would have loved. They would have loved to donate.
I know.
It's for his wedding too. I'm the type of guy though, Pat. I take you for 3 dimes. See ya. You're supposed to give it to the couple. It's
yeah,
like,
but
what a night I
that's
had
the
a
thing.
blackjack at Mayo Stag.
Yeah, but look, there's 1 or 2 guys that are probably gonna win. But the other 13 guys who are like pacing behind the person who's not done yet, they're gonna get in. They're gonna lose their money. Not a problem. The problem was there was no ATM, and my wife was like, "This is our wedding. What are you talking about?" And I was like, I would enjoy it if I went to a wedding and they had
should have
blackjack.
trusted you.
And then I had
made
blackjack that I could play.
Yeah, exactly. Have we done bronze picks yet?
We have not. Hit me with your bronze pick.
Okay. I'm going to go to curling again. Did you guys pick mixed or are you doing men's? And
No, you go for mixed. We haven't talked mixed yet.
Oh,
I'm interested in this one. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to go with Great Britain mixed plus 240. That's everyone's talking Canada. I watched Holman and Morris play. They were, he was awful. I don't know. Maybe he's going to get it back together, but Great Britain's just great at curling. I think they're a dangerous team. And I got one for you too here, guys. So Great Britain plus 240. And if you want a super dark horse in mixed, China 22-1. Just a little sprinkle.
Someone gave me that when I went through the entire whatever it was. I asked people for their best bet for the Olympics on Twitter. That was someone's best bet. China mixed doubles curl or mixed curling 22-1.
22-1. You got to bet it. Like these guys are actually good. They compete. They can go to the finals and win. Good hedge.
Sounds like we're heavily invested in British curling this year.
We sure are.
But in fairness, these are all Scottish curlers, right?
Yes, correct. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, they're not from friggin' Lancaster. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm from Wilfordshire. No, they're from friggin' Glasgow and Edinburgh. We chuck rocks. That's what we do.
I
told you, Pat, though, we got to come up with curling teasers. 2.5 rocks, this and that. Like, I think it's a great idea, but nobody's listening.
Same game curling parlays is what we really need.
Yeah, there we go. DraftKings Sportsbook, listen up. Same game curling parlays. I'm in on it. My bronze pick. I got to go with Canada on one of these. I will go Canada over Sweden head to head in women's curling, even money.
Wow, we really have attacked the curling. Yeah, I don't mind that either.
We'll beat Sweden.
There we go. Rob, bronze pick.
I'm going to the men's luge singles. Which I handicapped again this morning by looking at the results of the past year and trying to determine who I think is going to win. I don't know why or how Johannes Ludwig of Germany is not favored in this event. He's the second favorite. It's a very wide open event. If you look at the luge times this year, lots of close results. So this one's going to be a sweat, but plus 375. Johannes Ludwig of Germany. I think he should be favored. He won 5 of the 12 World Cup events this year. The guy that's actually favored, his name is Wolfgang Kindl. He only won 3 of them. One of them was a sprint. And I look at the times. Ludwig, by far the most consistent times. You're going to get a good performance out of this guy. Doesn't mail it in anytime he's out there on the luge, on the track, I guess. That's what I'm going with.
How about a podium finish if he's consistent? Say he doesn't win, he's going to be top 3. Can we get something?
You could, but like,
I don't care if I lay juice. I just want winners, Rob.
Well, I hear you, but that doesn't excite me. Like, it's not exciting for me. I to cheer for a guy in the podium. Like, I don't go to the track and bet a horse to show.
I do.
I know you do. I'm saying that's not what excites me personally.
Oh, okay. No,
I don't want to win my money back if I'm betting the Olympics. I want a big score.
Just play a triactor then. Like you know these guys to do
That's
it.
what
Like
I'm saying I
that,
do.
Right?
Yeah.
And box it.
So
Anyway.
so here are some that the viewers came up with, just to throw them out here. I don't know. I couldn't pick out any of the people I just bet on out of a crowd. So, I mean, what's the difference at this point? Germany 2-4 in bobsled. Johannes Thingisbo in all 3 men's biathlon events. Under 0.5 official COVID cases. That one's pretty good, I think. So then someone's saying Sweden's men's curling. I don't know about that one. 3-1. China 22-1 mixed curling.
Yeah.
Hannah Jogberg women's biathlon individual matchup over Dorothea Whiter -120.
I actually really love the market on betting on official COVID cases. I think that's easily handicapable. When you basically have to look at who are the competitors to China in some big events.
Yes.
And then you bet the over on the COVID cases for that country. Like if so this is under half for Germany, I would go through all the events that I think Germany is like going to compete in or favored to win a medal. See if China is also favored to win a medal in one of those events. And if they are, over, if not, under. I think that there's something to that. I really
agree.
All right. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Winter Olympics special. Back to football next week, guys. And Cam, you're going to be there. I did Radio Row in Minnesota, which was the worst place on earth to do a Super Bowl radio row because it was -31 out, although it wasn't the Mall of America, which was nice.
I'm going to be honest.
Don't let them...
I'd rather go to Minnesota than LA. It takes 2 hours to get away. LA is a disaster to get
It's
around.
going to be nice, at least. You couldn't go outside during the Minnesota Super Bowl. It was just too cold.
They're telling me not to go outside or don't wear blue or red because of the Bloods and Crips. I don't want to be sitting there at a hot dog stand and get
Did anyone actually tell you that?
Yes. We actually had like a friend of the program on.
No. But
coach, he's a brother. He's a black guy. Great. We love him. We love the coach, but he's right. You got to be careful. I can't be strutting down the streets of Inglewood. Like you got to be smart. You got to have your head on a swivel. It's like getting off track in Vegas. Everyone's like, oh, me and Gabe talk about it. Just because there's palm trees doesn't mean you're safe. It's not true.
All right, words to live by, I suppose. Just don't let them keep you on air for 8 straight hours a day without any breaks. Because that happened to me, and it was the nut low. It was awful.
I have a feeling we're going to be working pretty hard, but I'm going to Vegas afterwards. So,
Cam, have you at least learned the hand signals to flash just in case you come into the wrong territory? You got to tell them you're one of them, right? You're one of the Van Buren boys.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm one of you. I got a red hair, blonde eyebrows. The
blood,
I'm the brother of Brock Lesnar. Let's talk.
Were you really thinking about just randomly walking around the neighborhoods? Was that gonna be an issue for you?
I like to do it during the day, but no, at night I'd question it. I'm actually surprised I'm alive. I made a lot of really bad decisions in Vegas, but we're still here to talk about it. I got lucky.
There we are. And
I've been there for some of those situations for sure.
I'll see you in Vegas in 2 weeks. Cam Stewart live on Twitter. Watch him on Sports Grid and catch him live from Radio Row all next week. He'll be back on Friday's show next week as we go through our gold, silver, and bronze picks for the Super Bowl. Rob Pizzola, betstamp.app. You got anything going on this week? You doing a live Periscope Sunday chat of the giant slalom?
No, I'm not. You know what? I'm getting pumped for the Olympics now after doing this special today. I was not into it at all until I woke up this morning at 9:00, started firing through some odds and doing some research, and now I'm totally into it. So I'm excited about that. I think if the one thing I'm going to plug is I'm doing like a super prop special that's going to drop next Tuesday for my podcast, Circles Off. So anyone wherever you listen to your podcast, whether Spotify, Apple, whatever, we're on there. Subscribe to Circles Off. We're going to interview basically dozens of people, asking them for their best prop bet on the Super Bowl, package it all together and get it out for Tuesday next week. So look forward to that.
And Rob, say hi to Whale Capper for me.
I will.
I'm a big fan. Nice guy.
Drew is a great guy. I talk to him pretty regularly. I will shoot him a message saying Cam Stewart says hello.
I wanted to get your gold, silver, and bronze picks very quickly about your gold, silver, and bronze favorite sports to watch at the Winter Olympics. So for me, I really only have 2. Number 1 is the aerials, the moguls and the flips and on the ski hill.
Yep.
It's one of the very first events. I absolutely love it. I don't know the names of anyone, but if someone's name sounds like they're from Quebec, bet on them. They tend to do very well at this. Number 2, short track speed skating. It's like NASCAR.
Yes.
People are just running into each
Yes.
other. I like that.
Yes.
You know what? The half pipe maybe would be 3rd.
So for me, I love short track speed skating. This is going to sound really bad because I know athletes work their entire lives to get there. But whenever you have one person that slides across the whole track and just takes everybody out, those are like epic moments for me. So that's kind of what I watch for. I'm not like, I like the commotion and chaos. That's what I really root for. So short track speed skating is one. I love ski jump. I don't know what it is about that mesmerizes me with ski jump, but it's like insane how far these guys are going through the air, and women as well. I really like the ski jump. And then honestly, people think I'm crazy. I'm not a senior citizen, but I love watching curling in the Olympics. I think it's amazing. The strategy that's involved in it. It's just, hours go by and I can't look away. I love that it's like a mix of sport, athleticism, and strategy as well. So those are the 3 for me that always stand out.
I'm really not down with luge, but I like the bobsled. I know it's a little bit weird. You're jammed up with another guy in there, but it gets pretty exciting. Like those times are pretty quick. I'm with Rob. I love Olympic curling. And what else are we going to do? What was the other one? The speed skating rocks. I used to cover speed skating. It is a lot of fun. I love it.
So you would make that your gold, silver, and bronze?
Yeah.
Number 1 is
gold speed skating,
gold
bobsledded,
So,
and curling bronze.
I believe he said bobsled, as long as you're not jammed up with some other guys.
Well, you are. That's the whole problem.
Right.
You're in there. He's in there.
How do they get the 4-man bobsled in? Like, that's a really tight confined space.
A lot of pieces in there.
That was another one that Cust said he could do. He could be like the 3rd guy on the bobsled team. So once again,
I would actually pay to see that. By the way,
speed
I would
skating. Too. What was silver for you, Cam?
Bobsleigh.
Bobsleigh, and what was number 3?
Curling.
All right.
Curling.
Well, those are our gold, silver, and bronze picks of our favorite sports to watch at the Winter Olympics. I want to hear from you out there. What do you got as your gold, silver, and bronze? And don't tell me that you don't fucking care about the Olympics.
No.
You might not do that. I just don't really care to hear that. I want to know what the gold, silver, and bronze is. Like, if you're not watching, don't watch. I don't really care about that. But you don't need to tell me about that because I don't care what you think either. Apple Podcast. Leave a rating and review, please, for the Pat Mayo Experience podcast. Leave a rating on Spotify. Smash a like. Sub to the channel. And that will do it. We'll be back in a week's time with the best bets for Super Bowl 56. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!